You probably love these, but did you know they're made with these? All bagels, bread, tortillas, waffles, cake, pizza, the list can go on and on and on. They're all made with one main ingredient, wheat. But how do we turn these wheat stalks into these delicious foods that you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? My name's John Olinto. I'm co-founder here at One Mighty Mill. I'm a sports fan, I'm a father of 3, and there is no question my favorite food of all time is pizza. We started One Mighty Mill with one goal, to rebuild healthy local food systems by stone milling flour. You actually eat our bagels for breakfast. Anyways, enough about me, let's talk about flour. Flour goes in a whole lot of things we all love to eat. From pancakes we eat in the morning, to pizza we eat for lunch, to the burger buns we eat at dinner, these are all made with flour. Flour comes from wheat, but how do we go from these to flour? It all starts here on a farm. Here at One Mighty Mill, we only partner with local organic farmers. We have farmer partners in Maine, New York, Montana, and California. This is Peter. He's one of our farmer partners in Penn Yan, New York. Wheat is planted at different times of the year depending on a region's weather conditions. Some farmers grow theirs in the winter, and some grow theirs in the fall. Once the soil is ready, a machine called a grain drill is used to plant the seeds. Wheat grows in stages. At first, the wheat is green and can look like grass. Then it grows taller and becomes a golden brown color as it dries. The type of wheat and when it is planted determines when it gets harvested. Our wheat crop in California was harvested in July, and our wheat crop in New York was harvested in September. Once the wheat plant reaches its final stage in the growing process, provided it's dry enough and has no green showing, it's ready to be harvested. A combine, a huge piece of equipment that looks like a cross between a tractor and a lawnmower, is used to harvest the crop. Wheat plants have an edible grain at the top of a long stem. After the grain is cut and dried, the seeds, also called wheat berries, have to be removed from the stems. This is called threshing. It's traditionally one of the most labor and time-intensive parts of hand grain harvesting. The earliest threshing tools were feet. The heads of grain were laid out on a swept patio and people walked over them to free the kernels. This task was eventually taken over by oxen and other animals who were walked in circles over the heads, sometimes dragging a threshing sledge behind them. Nowadays, we use a mechanical thresher to shake the wheat berries from the stalk. Now that the wheat berries have been freed, we are super close to making flour. But first, what is a wheat berry? A wheat berry, also called a wheat kernel, can be found with the seeds up here on the wheat stalk. These wheat berries are what gets crushed to make flour. There are 3 parts to every wheat berry. Now it's time to turn the wheat berries into flour, and to do this, we crush the wheat berries between 2 massive granite stones, a process called stone milling. Our millstones each weigh 1,200 pounds. That is as much as a full-grown cow. We like stone milling because this means we can capture all the natural nutrients and flavor of the whole grains. But not all flour is made this way. What we're doing isn't new. Humans have been stone milling flour since 2000 BC. Traditionally, one of the stones, the runner stone, would rotate powered by water, animal, or a human hand, while the other stone, the bed stone, would remain still. While the grains are crushed using this technique, the germ, bran, and endosperm remain whole, which means the flour is packed with flavor and natural nutrition. This is our very first One Mighty Mill. A little updated from the wind-powered mill, but still crushing wheat berries between 2 stones. Up until the early 1900s, stone milling was how folks turned wheat into flour. But then the roller mill was invented and flour changed, and not necessarily for the better. In just 100 years, 25,000 local stone mills were replaced by a handful of industrial flour companies. These roller mills were designed to mill flour faster and make sure it would have a longer shelf life. The only way to give flour a longer shelf life was to strip out the nutrient-dense bran and germ, which were prone to spoilage, but also carried all the good vitamins and minerals in wheat that nourished our bodies and made wheat the original superfood. Flour became overly processed for convenience and profits. Longer shelf life means cheaper costs. Instead of crushing the entire wheat berry between 2 stones, roller mills were designed to strip and separate. In a roller mill, wheat berries are passed through stainless steel rollers which shear off the nutrient-rich germ and bran, resulting in white flour that might keep forever but is nutritionally deficient. The bran and germ that were removed from the wheat either used to feed animals or in some cases put back together years later in a mixer. Industries began prioritizing making money over feeding people food that tastes good and is good for them. As big industrial flour companies and roller milling grew and centralized in the US Midwest, something else changed. The local mills, the local farmer, and the local bakeries started to disappear. Instead of sourcing wheat within miles of your local stone mill and baking bread and bagels with fresh flour, the system became about size and scale. Wheat is now sprayed with harsh pesticides and glyphosate, also known as Roundup, which are not good for the planet or for our health. Harsh farming chemicals that are sprayed on crops end up leaking into local water and soil. This means they not only touch the crops, but pollute the entire local ecosystem. Thanks to the Industrial Revolution, tens of thousands of stone mills were replaced by a handful of industrial roller mills. Freshness, taste, and nutrition were traded for shelf stability and low costs. Here at One Mighty Mill, we're doing something different. To fix flour, we realized we needed to go back to the healthy local food systems that produced fresh, nutritious flour. So we partnered with organic, regenerative farmers, built our own stone mills, and began baking organic bagels, breads, tortillas, and pretzels with fresh stone mill flour. This whole process starts with locally sourced organic wheat. This means we source as much local organic wheat as possible from farmers committed to extended crop rotations and promoting biodiversity. Our partner farmers use organic field peas and organic whole buckwheat for crop rotations. Healthy wheat means living organic soil, which supports a happy and healthy community and planet. 150 years ago, stone mills were the cornerstone of healthy local food systems. That's why we're on a mission to build stone mills across the United States. We started with one stone mill in Lynn, Mass, and today we have 10 mills in Massachusetts, New York, and California. We sell our mighty bagels and breads in our local communities, in grocery stores, and we bake them for local schools. A big part of our mission is to feed our nutrient-dense flour to students like you. Last year, we served 600,000 bagels to public school kids in Lynn and here at Springfield, Massachusetts. Our mission is to feed communities in all venues and settings, not just the grocery store. We serve our stone mill bagels to you for breakfast and now make fresh stone mill pizza for lunch. We believe stone milling can fix flour and improve the way that folks eat. Only stone milling captures the full natural flavor and nutritional richness of whole grains. Like we saw before, industrial processing strips the fiber-rich bran and nutrient-filled germ out of the flour, leaving you with the starchy endosperm. By grinding the whole wheat berry, stone milling captures all three nutrient layers in the whole grain. This is how we build one. I'll let Andrew take it from our stone mill builders at New American Stone Mills in Barre, Vermont.
The stone blocks have to be harvested. That weigh many tons. After the blocks are pulled out, they're cut into slices, and then the slices are cut into a disc. After they're cut into a disc, we need to make sure they're perfectly flat and even from side to side. So they get planed, and then after they're planed, then a hole gets bored through the middle for the grain to get poured through. When we get it here in the shop, the stone is a perfect disc, and we go about cutting the grooves, which are called the furrows, and the lands, which are the flat parts here. And that process involves using a number of cutting tools to cut this shape, but then roughing it up with a bush hammer to make it a rough surface to grind the grain from whole grain down into fine flour. After each stone is cut, we have a top stone that's a runner stone and a bottom stone that's the bed stone. We have to take those two stones and put them together, true them to one another, and in that truing process we grind the stones some more to make sure that they're perfectly flat to grind the grain as fine as possible. From there we construct the frame, we build the hopper and all the casework, and then crate it up and ship another mill off to One Mighty Mill.
Stone mill flour doesn't just mean more nutrients, it also means better taste. So why do we do this? We do this for you. We believe everyone deserves access to food that's better for your taste buds, bodies, and the planet. To fulfill our mission, we need to feed communities beyond the ones buying our products in grocery stores. It's feeding students like you. This is so good. Taste the wheat berry, crushed whole. Nutrients. 3 nutrient layers in this.
Taste the grandstone.
Taste everything. Taste the farm.